Hello there, everyone. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you very much for lending me your time and your ear and listening to another idea that I think would work out very well on the Wii U. And that would be what I'm dubbing Fire Emblem Fated Blades. Basically, this is from my perspective, 3D fighting game using the Soul Calibur engine to just use Fire Emblem characters instead. Like the engine work is a good engine, and it would be a good usage of the characters. Now, before I go any further, I'd already done. Man, mustache! I need to trim it. I'd already done a video on Jay Fleming's channel with him. We had talked about an idea that was very similar to this. It was kind of funny because I had been thinking about something like this for a while, but I just hadn't fully thought it all through. And talking to him kind of helped bear more fruit for the idea. But it was Random Talks number 2. I think I was on the first one. I was on the first one with him too on his channel, Jay's Game Cafe. I'll put the link to that down in the description below, so you guys can go listen to that if you want to. But like it was a fun discussion for me because game ideas, and that's my thing. Um, but what I had been thinking was with this, like I said, Fire Emblem characters given the Soul Calibur engine. The basic premise that I had come up with is that the characters in Fire Emblem, like just characters that just been pulled from random moments in time throughout the Fire Emblem timeline, like maybe like they're the best fighters throughout Fire Emblem's history is what I really wanted to say. Like the best fighters among the characters throughout Fire Emblem's history were pulled together. I can't. I don't want to say cosmic forces because it's very cliche, but I guess that would be the best fit. Pulled together by a cosmic force to fight each other. This kind of sounds very similar to the plot line to Eternal Champions. Oh well, whatever. They're pulled together from different parts of the Fire Emblem timeline to fight each other. Obviously, there will be some rivalries among some of the characters, or just for for the fun factor of the game and for it to be intriguing to people. Now, I'm not necessarily going to name off characters, but anyone could probably look down the timeline of Fire Emblem and look at the more popular characters from the timeline, and those characters would be in the game. But again, utilizing the Soul Calibur engine. There would be a story mode. I would put a story mode in and give each individual character like their own story, which they could play. You could play through and learn something about the characters and the crisis and war that they're fighting or whatever's going on with them. During the story mode, I would make it 9 matches across the board. Like, just for everybody, it's 9 matches straight through. By the 5th match, you would fight your first rival, like your character's first main rival, and then by the 8th match, you'd fight their secondary rival. The 5th match, you'd fight their secondary rival, and then by the 8th match, you'd fight their main rival, and by the 9th match, you fight the embodiment of this force that has drawn and dragged all of these characters together to this one point in time. Obviously, the stages would be very, very much themed around where the characters have been in Fire Emblem. So each character's stage would reflect their point in time in Fire Emblem, like where they are in as far as Fire Emblem's history. And every character would have their own stage. I'm tired of fighting games where the characters have no stages to themselves. It's annoying as hell to me. I mean, Mortal Kombat, I think, has started that trend, but it's really getting annoying to me that there's no characters with home turf anymore. And I lost my train of thought there. I'd have the story mode, and then you have your just the normal arcade mode where you just play through, where you just play the 9 matches, no special rivalry battle whatsoever. Just play straight through, and you can get the characters normal ending as normal, the same way you would to go through the story. Obviously, a versus mode for local as well as online play. I'd also add in an adventure mode, but instead of it being like the one in Soul Calibur 2, which I loved and that one was great, I'd actually take a page out of the Hyrule Warriors book with how that adventure mode is set up, where you are put on, like, you'll have multiple different adventure battlefields, but only certain characters can be used on certain fields because that's where that's the battlefield that they were on. That's their point in time that they came to be. I'm not saying you wouldn't fight the other characters, but you'd only be able to play with certain characters on certain battlefields. And you can use this to unlock extra costumes, additional variants of the characters' weapons, additional variants of their armor. Well, that would be costumes. I just wasn't thinking there when I said that. Maybe different versions of musical tracks for the game, things of that nature. A lot of like pretty much a lot of stuff like that. But I'd take the page out of the Hyrule Warriors book where your character's on that adventure field, and you move your character about, but then instead of the Hyrule Warriors style fight, you'd have your normal. Well, I guess that would make it look kind of like Soul Calibur 2. I don't know what the heck I'm saying. What I'm generally trying to say is, it would be in the styling, the look of how the Hyrule Warriors adventure map is, but it would play like the Soul Calibur 2. What was it called? It wasn't called adventure mode, but it was an adventure mode essentially, where you play through with a character and you get a bunch of different tasks and different fight types. Like, say you have to beat, say you're playing as Marth and you have to beat Ike in 10 seconds without getting hit. You get hit, you automatically lose. Stuff like that. Which I think we also talked about that on that video. So, like, again, talking with him kind of helped breed more ideas for this, because I was like, Fire Emblem needs a fighting game. And then he said he wanted to do that, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. We can talk about that. And I gained some thoughts from it. Man, what is that? What else was I thinking? Obviously, something like this, it would use Amiibo. And they'd probably have to create Amiibo for each one of the new characters for Fire Emblem, which would be awesome. Be a nice addition. So Amiibo, utilizing Amiibo the same way pretty much that Smash Brothers does, but with these Amiibo, you can also unlock another set of variant costumes. Like, instead of having people just pay for the costumes separately, have other ways to unlock them. You can use the Amiibo to unlock them, and you can also use the Amiibo as fighters for the game. And again, copying Smash's example, they get smarter as they fight more, and give them a level cap of like maybe 40 or 50, very much like Smash. Also, like for online, I would love just a for fun mode, a ranked mode, a tournament mode, and I think the other one will be a round robin, which is kind of like a season. If round robin to me is like comparable to a season in football, everybody fights everyone else, and then whoever's at the top of who has the most wins is the winner, and so on and so forth. But make the round robin up to like 12 people. Like, that would be awesome. And it, like, everybody's in a rotation. That'd be so cool to see that. Like, for them to do something like that. But really, that's really it. There's not a whole lot more I can add to a concept like this because it's something that's been done already. Obviously, you want a training mode, not necessarily a training. Well, actually, yeah, put a practice mode in so people could practice playing with the characters, and then also put in a training mode that can teach people some basic combos for each and every character. And the adventure mode would serve as a challenge mode anyway, so you wouldn't necessarily need a separate challenge mode from that because the challenge mode would be pointless if you have the adventure mode, and the adventure mode has all of the challenges in it. So, nope. I think I really am done. Like I said though, I'm gonna put the link to the chat I had with Jay Fleming on Game Cafe on his channel. I'll put the link to that down in the description. I'll probably put an annotation on the video somewhere too around here, so that you guys can click that on the video. But yeah, that's it really. There's nothing else for me to add. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears up for more of my stuff, and until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out.